Literary and language focus. Explain the use of the literary elements of a story: theme, plot, setting, character, point of view. Define and identify metaphor and irony and explain the author's purpose for using them. Identify symbols within the text and evaluate an author's use of symbolism to convey ideas. Determine the author's style, identifying particular word choices and figurative language. Theme. What exactly is the theme of a story, and how can we recognize it? Is it the central idea of the story? Can a literary work have multiple themes? What is the theme of this essay? Is the theme woven all the way through the story or essay, as Orwell calls it, and the character actions, etc., or it exists as a separate entity? Theme and message. The theme of Shooting an Elephant is regarded Orwell's attack on imperialism and its evils, based on his personal experience back when he was working at Burma under the command of British government. What is Orwell's message? What techniques does he use to convey the idea? Identify the purpose of the writer and examine the ideas that he includes in support of that purpose. Action. When does the action of shooting an elephant begin? When the narrator tells us about his experience in Burma, or when he receives a telephone report of an elephant ravaging the bazaar? How does the author begin shooting an elephant? With a meditative prelude to the action, or directly reporting the action in the middle of an event? Analyze the essay according to plot elements. What can be the climax or turning point in the story? Setting. Where is the essay set? Where does the action take place? How is it described? What are the functions of the setting? Does setting in the essay support the theme? If so, how? Character as symbol. In some cases, certain characters are understood to represent a given quality or abstraction. Rather than simply being people, these characters stand for something larger. How would you describe the main characters in Shooting an Elephant? What does the elephant symbolize? What does the British officer symbolize? What might the elephant's slow death symbolize? Character as symbol. The message of an author can be expressed implicitly. In other words, it can be expressed indirectly. Implication may be conveyed by symbol. Sometimes symbols can be straightforward. For example, dove symbolizes peace, rose, purity, lion, strength and courage. Winter represents aging, decay, and death. Spring is often used to represent energy, birth and hope. Summer is symbolic of childhood, fun and laughter. Autumn stands for maturity, wisdom, and fulfillment. But more often, it is not easy to say exactly what they symbolize. Now, discuss the symbolic meaning of the elephant and the executioner. Point of view. From what point of view is the story written? The point of view can sometimes indirectly establish the author's intentions. Orwell employs a casually assumed first-person point of view. What readers know of the event described in the story, they know primarily from the narrator's direct and apparently candid divulgence. Critics say that couching the tale in the first person enables Orwell to engage in the rhythm of meditation and action without it seeming forced, because the narrator is reminiscing about the event which occurred sometime in the past. His interweaving of essayistic reflections with the main actions strikes the reader as quite natural. First-person narration. First-person narrative is a narrative or mode of storytelling in which the narrator appears as the I recollecting his or her own part in the events related, either as a witness of the action or as an important participant in it. This allows the reader or audience to see the point of view, including opinions, thoughts, and feelings of the narrator. The first-person narrative increases the credibility of the story, and the story becomes more confiding. The narrator's statements are backed by his or her presence in the described events. Narrator and author. Literary critics distinguish between the I of a first-person narrative, called the narrator, and the author of the text. So, what is the difference between the author and the narrator? Are the point of view of the narrator and the point of view of the author the same? How does the author represent the narrator? Do author and narrator necessarily share common opinions, beliefs, or characteristics? How does the use of the first-person perspective in the story create a sense of sympathy or understanding for Orwell's position? What would be different if it were written from other perspective? How does the story change by having the narrator not only present but active in the action of the story? And writing skills focus. Rewrite a section of shooting an elephant from a different perspective, such as in the third person. What is gained by the shift in perspective? What is lost?